I'm sure you've heard the news. The death of Yahya Sinwar. The Middle East woke to a changed landscape on October 19, 2024. Yahya Sinwar, the leader of Hamas, was gone. The news, confirmed by both Israeli and Palestinian sources, sent ripples of shock and uncertainty through the region. Sinwar, a figure of considerable controversy, had been a key player in the ongoing conflict. His death, while sudden, was not entirely unexpected in the volatile theater of the Middle East. The question now, what did this mean for the region, so long starved for peace? Sinwar's leadership had been marked by both periods of relative calm and escalations of violence. A pragmatist to some, a hardliner to others, his true legacy was complex and contested. His absence left a void, a vacuum of power with the potential to either reignite the conflict or perhaps pave the way for a new era of dialogue. The world watched, waited, and hoped. A glimmer of hope, the potential for peace. In the aftermath of Sinwar's death, a fragile hope began to emerge. Could this be a turning point, a moment for the region to step back from the brink? Some analysts suggested that Sinwar's departure might create an opportunity for more moderate voices within Hamas to be heard. Others speculated that Israel, sensing a shift in the balance of power, might be more willing to engage in negotiations. The international community, weary of the seemingly intractable conflict, clung to this sliver of optimism. Leaders from across the globe issued statements calling for restraint and urging all parties to seize this moment to work towards a lasting peace. The sentiment was clear: the time for violence was over. The time for dialogue, for understanding, for compromise had arrived. Regional anxieties, neighbors on edge. While the international community held its breath, neighboring countries watched the unfolding events with a mixture of hope and trepidation. Egypt and Jordan, both deeply invested in regional stability, felt the tremors of uncertainty most acutely. Their calls for an immediate ceasefire, a de-escalation of hostilities, were immediate and heartfelt. The conflict's impact transcended the immediate zones of conflict. The economies of neighboring states, already grappling with a multitude of challenges, felt the strain. Tourism, a vital source of revenue, dwindled as anxieties rose. The Suez Canal, a crucial artery of global trade, saw a dip in traffic, reflecting the broader economic unease. For Egypt in particular, the stakes were high. The country, a linchpin of regional stability, could ill afford further turmoil. Section 4, Global Pressure Mounts, a call for calm. The international community, recognizing the gravity of the situation, mobilized to prevent further escalation. The Gulf Arab states, long advocating for a peaceful resolution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, intensified their diplomatic efforts. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken became a central figure in these efforts, engaging in shuttle diplomacy, speaking with leaders across the region, seeking to bridge divides and build consensus. The specter of Iranian involvement loomed large in these discussions. The Gulf states, wary of Tehran's regional ambitions, were keen to prevent the conflict from becoming a proxy war. Their message to both Israel and Hamas was clear: resolve your differences through dialogue, not violence. The stability of the region, they argued, depended on it. Section 5. Roadblocks to resolution, the persistence of conflict. Despite the global push for peace, significant obstacles remain. Hezbollah, the powerful Lebanese Shia militant group, while expressing a desire for a resolution, maintained a firm stance. Hamas, still reeling from the loss of its leader, seemed uncertain, caught between a desire to honor Sinwar's legacy and the need to find a path towards a less violent future. Israel, for its part, appeared hesitant to make concessions. The government, facing internal pressure from hardline elements, seemed disinclined to engage in negotiations from a position of perceived weakness. The chasm between the positions of the involved parties remained wide, a stark reminder of the deep-seated mistrust and animosity that fueled the conflict. Section 6. An Uncertain Dawn, the Future of Peace. As the sun rose on a world still grappling with the news of Sinwar's death, the question remained: would this be a turning point or simply another chapter in the long and bloody conflict? The potential for peace, while tantalizingly close, remained frustratingly elusive. The coming days, weeks, and months would be critical. The world watched, waited, and hoped that this time, just maybe, peace might prevail. The path forward was fraught with challenges, but the alternative, a descent back into violence and despair, was unthinkable. The stakes were high, the cost of failure immeasurable. The future of the Middle East, and indeed the world, hung in the balance.